YouTube, you. Woo! Mr. King coming at you live from the studio. Here are the questions for the day. Please pause the video now and answer them. Here's a hint for number 4. So remember that protons, the positively charged particles, are what determine which element is which, because the electrons and the neutrons are the ones that vary. Yep. Remember, it is a 3-day weekend, and we do have our quiz today. But first, I want to go over the answers for the Wednesday isotope modeling, at least the first part. So you can either follow along with me or check your answers and make sure you got the model right for nitrogen 15. That's the one I'm going to start with. So I'm going to be on slide 13, part 1. Google the atomic number for nitrogen. The atomic number is the number of protons. Atomic number for nitrogen is 7. All nitrogens have 7 protons. That's what makes them nitrogen. So then it says drag the correct number of protons inside the nucleus on slide 16. All right. I'm going to try and grab 7 and have them repel. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical, but do your best to spread them out a bit. Part 2 is the neutrons. Find the mass number for nitrogen 15. Not nitrogen 15, because it's a special isotope. And remember, nitrogen 15 gets its name because it weighs 15. So 15.00109, round down to 15. Subtract the mass number, 15, minus the number of protons. So 15 minus 7 is 8. So that's how many neutrons we need. All 8. So just put them in the atom wherever you can fit them. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical. Just put them wherever you can find space. Six, 7, 8. Okay. Now we have the hardest part, the electrons. Electrons. So nitrogen does not have a charge on it, so the amount of electrons equals the amount of protons. The inner ring can only hold 2, but the rest of the rings can hold up to 8 electrons. So, like I said, nitrogen does not have a charge, so electrons are equal to the amount of protons. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 protons, so we need 7 electrons. And you always need to start out with the 2 electrons on the first ring, the nucleus, and it's convention to put them top and bottom. Then you can put the other 5 on the outer ring. I'm just going to spread them out best I can. Okay, then you have a proton electron left over. So that is nitrogen 15. And then you need to compare this model to this model. Look for the difference and then answer the last question. Yep, and then make sure you have the word turned in for the isotope modeling. And then we do have a quiz today, but I don't want you to take it until you're done watching this video. Okay? So right here we have the periodic table. This is what you'll be given. The only thing you'll be given if you're trying to go to med school. So that's all that they think you need. So you'll never have to memorize this, but I do want you to be comfortable using the periodic table. First thing, how many protons are in lithium? Hint, lithium, the symbol is Li. So find lithium on this table, and then the number attached to the element is how many protons it has. So carbon, no matter what carbon it is, it'll always have 6 protons. And helium will always have 2 protons. So try and find lithium. you should have seen. I'm not gonna do a redo of this one. I'm just gonna keep rolling. Lithium is right here. So lithium has 3. Now here's the isotope symbol for lithium, 7. So lithium is atom number 3, so it has 3 protons. Lithium weighs 7 total, and lithium has 3 protons. So how many neutrons does lithium have? Do you remember how to solve this? So remember, the atomic mass is up here, and that's the total weight. And to get the total weight of lithium, they take the protons plus the neutrons. So to figure out how many neutrons it has, you take 7 minus 3. That'll give you 4. So there's 4 neutrons. So lithium has 3 protons, 4 neutrons. Okay, but now lithium does not have a charge. Lithium is neutral, so how many electrons does it need? Pause the video now and think about it. You want to balance out the protons with electrons. Okay. So you should have gotten 3 electrons because there's 3 protons, so you have to balance them out. But what's the rule? How many electrons should you put on the first screen? And then you should remember the first ring always has 2. First ring always has 2. Now, if 2 electrons on the first ring, how many electrons do you need on the second ring? So you want to balance out the protons with electrons, so you need 3 electrons total. So you put the first 2 on the inner orbital, and then the last one on the outer orbital. This is new. This is what you need to do 2 of the questions on the quiz. Right now, lithium has 2 electrons. The 2 electrons are right here, and it has 3 protons in the nucleus right here. So, what is the charge of lithium right now? Lithium has 3 protons, 3 pluses, 3 positively charged particles, and 2 negatively charged particles. Charge means is it positive, negative, or neutral? Neutrons are neutral, protons are positive, electrons are negative. Lithium right now has 1 more proton than electrons. So overall, lithium right now has a +1 charge. And that's why right now lithium is an ion, because it has a charge. Next, I want you to figure this one out yourself. What is the charge of beryllium? Okay? Try and figure it out yourself. What's the charge of beryllium now? Next, this is a sneak peek of next week. Ions like to have a complete ring or a complete orbital. So some atoms are more likely to have a +1, +2, -1, -2, or a neutral charge. It's like lithium will prefer to have a +1 charge, so its orbital is full, and beryllium will prefer to have a +2 charge, because its orbital is full. Next one, look closely. What is the charge of this nitrogen? Okay, what's the charge of this nitrogen? Try and figure it out. Look at the protons and the electrons. What's the overall charge? Is it positive, negative, or neutral? Hopefully you learned the rule that to find out the charge of something, you want to count the protons and the electrons. Protons are positive, so you want to figure out how many positives there are and how many negatives. And then if there's more protons, it's positive. If there's more electrons, it's negative. Okay? And if they're equal, it's 0. So if you counted these ones for nitrogen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 protons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 electrons, they're equal. So right now, nitrogen is neutral. Now I want you to try and figure out what is fluoride then. Hint, count the protons and electrons. Try and figure out what is the overall charge of fluoride, the fluoride ion right now. Pause the video now, try and think about it. What is the charge of fluoride? Okay. So what you can do, you should count the protons. You should have seen that there's 9 protons and 10 electrons. Since there's one more electron, there's one more negative in there. So the overall charge of fluoride is -1. And I use fluoride because that's what you use in your toothpaste to clean your teeth. Last one, what is the charge of this oxygen ion? Pause the video now and think about it. I'm not going to give you the answer to this one. You can look this one up. After you did that, you should be ready. Once you've done all the assignments for the week, you should be ready to take the quiz. That's the last thing before you go. Take the quiz. Good luck. Bye, everyone. Have a good weekend. See ya.